Howdy folks, you know me, I love 3D printing, but the thing is, with around a workshop you would think a 3D printer, so what, but sometimes a 3D printer can solve a problem that you didn't even know you had. Yeah, so the other day I had a screw shoved in here. Anytime you buy these kind of tools like this one right here at a yard sale, the safety thing is always missing, you know, the little safety switch. So add a couple screws in there just to, you know, hold it together so you could, you know, switch it on and off. Well, it never dawned on me till this morning. Why not 3D print one of these darn things? And here we go. You know, that's red. Snaps in good. Now I can use it, and I've got a safety switch. 3D printed. So we made some of these up with a 3D printer this morning, and yeah, like as you can see, it's working. But Craftsman made several different styles of these crazy lockouts. If you have the bandsaw, for example, it's different from this one again. And not all Craftsman, even their drills and stuff, I don't know. I know that the 8-inch and like the 12-inch like I have, this is what fits them, and this will fit a number of different Craftsmen. So I'll tell you what, we've got some here. I'm going to make some more, and I'll put them on Etsy, and I will supply a link in the description below where you can go find these if you have a Craftsman and you'd like to get that silly screw thing out of there, or if you just can't run your Craftsman because you're missing you've lost the safety switch. Yeah, that's the key. Yeah, but 3D printing just fixes things. Like I said, there's so many things around my workshop that have 3D printing involved now that I've actually sort of not only lost count, but sometimes I completely forget that, oh yeah, we had to make that on a 3D printer to repair that problem we had. And it just continues to amaze me that how much of this stuff around me keeps getting repaired with the 3D printer. And a lot of people that have workshops to this day are like, well, I don't really want one, you know, or they're not for me or something. But anybody that's into woodworking or car repair, automotive repair, anything like that at all, 3D printing, it'll just it's like it takes you to the next level, and it opens up a whole world of things like something as silly as that, you know, where you just make your own key switch for the Craftsman. Yeah. Next product's a big one if you're a woodworker too. This is from a table saw, and here's the thing. We'll start with the zero clearance, and this was a zero clearance kit. It was purchased. It was a block of wood. You get it off the internet, but the trouble is you pay. At the time, you could pay anywhere from $60 to $80 for the wood to be, you know, pre-cut kind of thing, but you still had to take your saw blade and cut through here to get your zero clearance. Now, there's a couple of functions here that are missing, and the number one item is right here. There's no lockdown for this end of it, so the only thing holding this plate down at that point is the one screw that goes in right here. So there's that, and also because there's only this one screw, when you push the blade up, this thing has a tendency to flop around and shatter a little bit. The other thing was, if you want to do the 45 cut, you're going to have to back the saw up and down, angle, until you can get this side opened up for a 45 cut, because otherwise, no, you don't have it. So the cost of this was kind of ridiculous, and I have several of these. And some of them were as cheap as $20, some of them was over, I think it was $89. And every one of them, this is the first thing that's missing, is a lock. So, with a 3D printer, we make these. This is one of our production items. And the very first thing I'm going to point out is there's a lock mechanism right here. A very nice, strong lock that locks this thing down into the machine, into the Craftsman table saw in this case, at this end. It also has an almost zero clearance to the blade on this side, but because it's 3D printed, we can do some funny stuff here. We cut the 45 back here with the 3D printer on the drawing and allow for the saw to completely come over 45 degrees, so you never have to change this plate. In fact, you don't have to take the plate out of there ever again. You're pretty much done at that point, which is cool. Now the next thing that was a trick is, of course, we get the screw here. So the screw is located at the proper hole, and so we lock down here. We're also locked here. In total, it's also plastic. It's not tendency to swell or, you know, get weird on us because it's not wood. You know, and not to say that anything's wrong with wood, But a lot of these pieces I have found, they get a little warpy and they don't sit real nice and flat all the time. There's not a real nice top here, so you have to sort of sand and screw around with it a little bit. So just for the $89 for the expensive one I have here somewhere, it's just useless. You know, it just wasn't working, and it was really hard on my blade. This one here wasn't bad, but the other one I got in was really expensive, and it just about tore the blade up to get the blade through to create the zero clearance. And again, we already have the slot in here, so we don't have to worry about the zero clearance. It's pretty much just about zero clearance on this side. So lots of good features. Also, it's made from sturdy 3D printed plastic that will outlast the saw. Nice and light, and you don't need, you know, it slides. The wood and everything that you're cutting slides on top of this really nicely. And you also don't need any leveling, because this thing is so precision when it goes out the door. It's pretty much perfect just the way it is. If you do need to shim it up, you can stick a little bit of tape back here on these corners if you need to, you know, get it up a little bit. But other than that, it's a perfect product. And it's made from a 3D printer. You know, it's like, I can't say enough about some of the crazy things that I have seen in the last few years with 3D. And again, I'll tell you what, again, I will provide a link in the description below where you can find this baby. This is for the Model 152 Craftsman table saws. So if you have, and it's 13 3/8 from this end to this end. So if you measure your saw and you check all that, you can make sure that this is the proper plate for your saw. Because Sears, Craftsman, they did a lot of different model numbers over the years. And we also have the I think it's the 315 on there. We're working on the 113, which is a very old Craftsman portable saw that was used, sold out of Sears for years. And again, great saw, but the plates, when we get through, we'll have the same thing where the plate will offer all these different features. You put it on one time and you now have the zero clearance, almost zero clearance, and you have the 45, and there's no reason to worry about the plate anymore. Yeah, good deal, huh? And before I forget, you can't build this on a Bamboo Lab machine, okay? Yeah, that's a very popular 3D printer right now, and they're not bad. I mean, for price and everything, they're a great printer. But something like this is actually too big for the Bamboo Lab. It requires about 300 millimeter by 300 millimeter build size plate. And in fact, the process that I use requires a very large machine, like 325 by 325, in order to get this plate made correctly the way I want it made. Because we actually print this side of it on the glass down so that it comes out with a really nice, you know, finish on top. So I just thought, I thought, you know what, I'll better mention that, because a lot of people look at the Bamboo Lab, and they are great. There's a lot of fantastic projects you can make on them. There's a lot of great little, you know, small printers out there for, you know, not very much money that will get you going. I have an SK1 in from Two Trees, which is kind of the clone of the P1P. And, you know, once I got the Orca slicer on and started using it, I love it. It's a great machine. It's fast. It does a great job. Really happy with it. The other one that came in was a Cheaty. Cheaty was something that was really small, way too small, but it makes a lot of the small products for us. So it was like, I guess I'll keep the Cheaty around because it's doing a great job and I'm really not having any problems with it. There are other people that have gotten into various problems with it, or headaches. I haven't had those problems. And in fact, the history of 3D printing is really odd. Way back around 2012, 2014, somewhere back around that time, I got a hold of the very early CR10 from Creality, and it was a great machine. It came in, I was very careful about building it, very careful about putting this thing together and setting it up, making sure everything was squared off. You know, the Z axis, the Z height was exactly where it needs to be on the bed, and at that point the machine was flawless. In fact, I could put the SD card in, tell it to run the file and walk away, and confidently, without even taking a second look, the first layer went down and it made the part, and there was no mistake, no screw ups, there wasn't any problems. So overall, the CR10 just was amazing for what it was from Creality. Now it's a long time ago now, but I noticed the internet on YouTube and things was flooded with complaints and different people posting complaints about the CR10, and I'm having problems and it doesn't print right, and you know, it's a piece of junk. And I
I actually had to sit down and ask people, where is this coming from? Because I said, I had the CR10. The CR10 to me was, it was just an absolute bulldozer. It would just do the work I needed all the time, consistently. I had almost no problems until I got into exotic stuff like PETG was a problem, ASA, ABS, that kind of. Then I was having some problems. But with PLA, it was just like, it's a cakewalk. It'll print it perfectly, and I can just walk away. I don't have to look back at it. But anyways, that was a good time back then. Yeah, so I just wanted to warn everybody, don't run out and buy a Bamboo Lab to think you're going to make this, because there are, in fact, this isn't even the biggest one we make. Yeah, there's actually a larger one for another type of saw that we're making, and we're also working on a, I think it's a quarter cable cabinet saw. The past couple of weeks we've been working on that, and again, it will be just a matter of time before we have that made, but it will be made on a very large printer because that's what that calls for, you know. Yeah. Hey everybody, thank you for watching Coffee Tools. Please like, share, subscribe, bring in the notice bell. I've got new stuff coming in. I've got new stuff here, but I can't show it. In fact, one of them is behind me over here, and I can't show it till after June the 15th. New products, you know. Other product also after that can't be released until July the 1st. So yeah, scheduling always over and out.